If you'd like to start moving forward to get the life you want, you're going to need to know the 3 personal growth and development questions that matter the most. In this video, you're going to learn why the questions matter, what the actual questions are, and how to approach them to get the best results. I'm Lori Bonaparte, a certified life coach, and I help people move forward to get the life they want. If this is you, you're in the right place. Let's get into it. Okay, why? Why does this even matter? Because if you don't ask yourself thought-provoking questions, guess what? Your thought patterns will remain the same, and your life will remain the same. If you were looking for a new perspective, a new approach, a new way to do things, if you're looking to get something new in your life, it needs a new thought pattern on your part. It's important to ask yourself questions that you can reflect on so that you can get to a new place. Okay, let's get into the actual questions. The first question, what's next for me? This question has to do with designing your future. Now, what's next for me? It sounds like a simple question. However, if we don't stop and properly reflect on it, what we end up with is thoughts of what's wrong with my life now, what's not happening for me. We tend to look at the negative. There's something that we are dissatisfied with that's bringing that part of life to our attention. If we don't take the time to reflect on what we want to see next, to design our future, we'll just end up with more of the same. And a lot of times our attention will go to what isn't going so well right now in life, or the things that irritate us and annoy us, as opposed to the ideal situation and how we would like it to be. So the category is what's next for me in life. And it's important that as we reflect on that, we do so in a positive light. What do we want to be next? The next actual question is, who am I now in this season of life? A lot of times we get going in a certain direction, and then a big life change will happen. And we don't realize that a lot of our plans were based on how things used to be and not how things are now. And so it's important occasionally to take a step back and review, who am I now in this season of life? Not who have I been and what I used to want, but now, who am I? And how does that affect what's next for me? And the third question is, where do I start? This is a super important question, because if you are motivated right now to do something different, that means you need to start now, because that tells your subconscious mind that you've already begun. So start with something simple. Set your intention for something that you can accomplish within the next 24 hours. That will tell your subconscious that you've already started this process. This will help you to become more fully present, and it will help you to get the process started. Here are some tips for how best to approach it. First tip is take a deep breath. This is deep work that you're doing. Next tip is put on your best non-judgmental attitude towards yourself. Turn off the inner critic. Now's not a good time for the inner critic. Be kind to yourself as you go through this process. And my last tip, write it out. There is something magical that happens when you put pen to paper and write something out. And if you don't, it swirls in your head and becomes something harder to get a grasp on. Trust me on this, write it out. Grammar doesn't have to be good. You could do bullet points. The important thing is you write it out. Okay, so there it is. The 3 important questions of personal growth and development, which are: what's next for me? Who am I now in this season of life? Where do I start? And now this is where you start. Take a deep breath. Turn off the inner critic and write it out. Write out your thoughts to those questions. Leave a comment. Let me know how this goes for you. And don't forget to subscribe. See you around.